Why on earth would it default the recording device to my webcam? That just doesn't make any sense. Defaults to the webcam. What? That speaker?
Yeah.
We want to do that speaker? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Where's the... Oh.
There you go. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels written by Robert Jordan and finished by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know why I'm doing the fucking baseball announcer thing. My name's Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I'm on book 12.
Yep.
Chapter 5?
No.
6? 4? 3?
3.
Wait a minute. Have I read an additional chapter?
We're doing the chapter we didn't do last time. We're doing the Aviendha chapter.
Oh, I just thought it would be good to just bang out both and then just you cut them in half. Cut it in half so that way we don't have to record another episode this week.
You haven't read the next chapter yet.
I could do that right now really fast.
How about we record this, then you do that?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. This... can I have the books over there?
No, you may not. This is Gathering Storm.
Now, while this may sound like it's a jank takes, it's not. It's just a loosey-goosey takes. There's still music. And there's these.
Tired, man.
We have all this stuff.
Good Lord.
There's this podcast...
I'm overstimulated.
only contains spoilers for things that Allie's already read, which again is going to be everything up to and including The Gathering Storm, Chapter 3, The Ways of Honor. Not the ways, not the ones with the fucking evil wind in it, Mashadar wind flavored. This is the other Ways of Honor. They're ways, like paths, but not like actual paths. We're talking metaphorical paths.
By the way, when I say have to record a podcast this week, recording the podcast is a joy.
Oh,
just sometimes you come home from work at the end of the day and you're like, I'm tired. And it's nice to have things just out of the way.
Things can be fun and also a responsibility. The two can be one.
Often they're the same.
Can be as one.
Often I find they're the same. Like the dog is fun, but he's also a responsibility. The cats are fun. They're also a responsibility.
The day job and the acting must be done. The podcast and walking the dog must be done. The two must be done.
All things must be done.
Yes.
Our to-do list never shrinks.
That was a reference to the way the Finns worded the thing to Rand.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought it must be.
The north and the east must be as one. The south and the west must be as one. The two must be as one.
I didn't get that, but I'm happy for you the people who did get it.
What does it mean that the two must be as one in that context?
It means that we're going to have to make
peace with the Sean Chan. Although actually I think it's more like one of these.
No, God, please, no.
It's not a particularly positive relationship, and it's not a particularly negative relationship. It's just kind of Dees with the Sean Chan.
We do still have the soundboard.
Yeah, no shit.
I love it. Kid in a candy shop. That's me. How you doing?
I came up with one. But it's kind of filthy, so I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to tell.
We're a very clean, family-friendly podcast. That's why every episode gets uploaded with an explicit tag, is because we're very clean, family-friendly.
I just think Rand should consider doing some sexual diplomacy with Tuan, or I guess that's what Matt is doing right now, and they're together, they're in bed, things happen, and there's some queefs with the Sean Chan.
Yeah. You made that one in the car. I forgot.
I forgot about it too until just now.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I'm not done with these.
Nor should
My favorite
be.
thing is that was a running bit on our Discord for so long. All week, that's been a joke.
You know who else isn't done with the Sean Chan? Rand.
I know.
He's going to make peace with the Sean Chan. People are sick of it. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Allie
I'm
is
not sick of it, so you're not sick of it.
the actual plot, though.
I'm not sick of the plot. Wow. I've never been accused of such madness in my
too loud.
life.
We're blowing their poor eardrums out.
It is funny to me before we start, because we should start. We're like 5 minutes in. But
they don't care.
It is funny to me how there are some small occasions in which we get, because we have a podcast, and so sometimes some reviews or emails come in, right, that are not like 100%
of
positive.
course. Yeah, well,
99.9% of the time, everyone's lovely and positive and sweet. But we're not for all markets, and we understand that. And, honestly, most of the time, with those things, it appears that the trash has seen itself out. But with some of the ways people word things. But I have seen a couple people go, I think they don't like the books or something. Whenever we say something that's like a little critical or like, oh, I think that would have been changed now, or or I get frustrated with the characters, not the writer, but the characters, sometimes with the writer, but mostly with the characters, right? Sometimes with the writer only in that there's just some really 90s shit in here, which is fine. It is what it is. But I'm like, would I talk about the books this much if I didn't love them? What a waste of time that would be.
That would just be silly.
The podcast would have ended a very long time ago. Gus and I would have had to make an awkward episode where we were like an NVM.
Yeah.
I just see that sometimes.
Well, there was only one time where you were like, if I were reading this without the podcast, I would have stopped. And that
by that.
That was after
Crown of Swords.
No, it was
Thailand?
in Path of Daggers, and it was when the list stuff kept happening.
The list?
Rand's list. You were like, if I were reading this on my own, I would have quit because of the list.
I would have quit before that. I would have quit at Thailand.
That's fair.
Yeah. But that's only in the context of looking at it from like Allie lens now, where I'm like, I don't, I knew, here's the thing. If the books were coming out now and I didn't have the advantage of knowing that it gets better down the line and that things course correct a lot, I would have quit then, because I would have been like, oh, this is just going to be stuff that keeps happening and keeps getting handled in a way that I just disagree with the author on.
It's a different thing.
And like, that's okay. I don't mind necessarily disagreeing with art, and I won't like attack the author or anything or do anything mean. I just like, a lot of the time, if I feel like that's going to be the tone of the entire thing, I go, life is too short to like force myself through something I don't think is going to get better. But because I have the advantage of having a community that's like, we know, and this gets better, and this is just a like particular thing that is like no one's favorite. Well, no one, at least who listens to us. Then I was just kind of, I could be like, oh, I have the advantage of knowing that like, this is not indicative of what the entire series is going to be.
Yeah. Because
which is different.
It's a very different thing from going into something completely unknowing and getting to portions of it that are like, oh no, this is going to be going in this direction forever, therefore I don't want to continue, versus going, everything that is 4.4 million words long is going to have its bumps.
Well,
and it's listen, Shakespeare wrote Henry VIII. If people heard me talk about Henry VIII, they'd think I hated Shakespeare. I don't hate Shakespeare.
No, we do not
really
stand
don't
Henry VIII
like
in this
Henry
house.
VIII. It's boring as shit.
Well, yeah, because he was writing it for his patron.
Yeah.
But yeah, he couldn't upset her.
Yeah.
By
that one
being
is
like,
not
your
very
dad's
good.
an idiot.
You know what else isn't particularly good? Two Gentlemen of Verona. Not a great play.
It is not
It's
a
not very
particularly good one. No, it is a problem play. He has his problem plays.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that one's not a
Crown
problem
of Swords was like Robert Jordan's problem play. Is that what?
I buy that. Well, Guy Roberts has that whole beautiful extended metaphor where he compares Shakespeare to the Wheel of Time.
And the slog is his problem plays. Yeah, he said that at WatCon this year. Well, I liked that.
The problem plays are Measure for Measure, All's Well That Ends Well.
Two Gentlemen of Verona. Is that not a problem play?
No, Two Gentlemen was one of his first plays.
I like Measure for Measure, and that's my
I
hot
also
take.
like Measure for Measure.
It ends weird, but it's a really good play.
They're both good. Yeah, like I like All's Well and Measure for Measure. I don't dislike those.
All's Well's a weird one.
It's weird because of the end, again.
Yeah, it is. It's hard because a lot of them are things that were funny then until we realized how fucked up it is.
Well, it's either funny then until we realized how fucked up it is, or I also remember going to a lecture once where somebody said part of the reason why we call them problem plays is that it is possible that Shakespeare was commentating on a societal problem at the time. Like
definitely with Measure for Measure.
A big reason why Measure for Measure is is a problem play and why it doesn't fit well into... We're going to talk about The Wheel of Time eventually. We do like it very much. Short version, we like it a lot.
Well, this chapter is not...
It's good.
No, I loved it because it's an
bumpin'.
Aviendha chap,
It's
but
a
I don't
banger.
think there's like a ton to deep dive into.
There's some. We'll talk.
There's some, but I think it's okay to vamp a little bit.
The reason, can I talk about Measure for Measure one more second?
Yes.
The reason,
of course.
the reason?
We could talk about Measure for Measure.
The
as long as
reason
you
why
fucking
Measure
want.
for Measure
This could
is
become
such
a
weird play.
This could become a Measure for Measure podcast. They can't stop us.
Yeah, they could just stop listening.
Well,
yeah.
that is their prerogative.
The reason why
This could be their version of our problem play.
one of the reasons why Measure for Measure is a problem plays often being described as plays that don't quite fit cleanly into comedy or tragedy, is one, there's like a bunch of people I think die in it. And as I recall,
In Measure for Measure?
No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a different thing. But
Yeah.
the main thing
I don't
about Measure
remember
for
people dying in Measure for Measure.
I'm incorrect. I was thinking about a particular adaptation that I saw
There
of
is
it
a
that was strange.
Threat of death
Yes.
in Measure for Measure.
But the thing about Measure for Measure is this heroine who is like very much the whole play like, I'm not going to get married. And then at the end, the Duke who she's doing everything for is like, and, I'm going to marry her. And then she doesn't have any lines for the rest of the play. And it's very strange.
That does keep happening to the women in Shakespeare's plays because that happens in As You Like It as well. As You Like It? No.
Much Ado About
Nothing, where Hero gets pledged to Claudio.
Hero just never fucking
and then
talks.
she never talks. Well, yeah, she never. Well, Gus and I have this stupid idea.
I don't want to give this away. I want to hold on to this. I don't want to publicly talk about my idea for how I would stage Much Ado until I have the opportunity to do it this
I
way.
think we should do it, though.
I want to do it.
It's so
I have a
good.
very stupid idea for how to stage Much Ado About Nothing. I can't talk about it right now.
All right. If you insist.
But it is specifically a commentary on the fact that
Hero has no personality.
She doesn't say anything. Much Ado About Nothing is a comedy.
Beatrice got all the personality in that family.
Yeah.
Hero got no personality.
Much Ado About Nothing is a comedy. If you've heard of Beatrice and Benedict, if you have seen the movie Anyone But You, which is the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell movie, it's an adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
If under a star danced and under that I was born, something like that.
Nay, my lord, my mother cried, but then a star danced, and under that was I born.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because
Your memory is insane.
Leonardo says, I think you were born in a happy hour. And she goes, nay, my lord, my mother cried. Nay, my lord, true, my mother cried, but then a star danced, and under that was I born.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
But a lot of people do, but then a star danced and under that I was born. Like I've seen that on a lot of jewelry dishes and shit.
Yeah. But like Beatrice and Benedict are like the original kind of enemies to lovers. It's not really enemies. They're like snarkers to lovers plot line. But then the other through line romantic plot in that movie is about this kind of putsy, princely type
Claudio.
guy. Not prince, but noble guy named Claudio. And this young woman named Hero. Her name is fucking Hero. She has absolutely no personality outside of being
None.
pretty girl that pretty boy falls
Pretty
in love with.
Pretty victim girl.
And is then
accused.
Well, flirted with by pretty boy's older friend, pretending to be pretty boy. Pretty boy's older friend successfully flirts with her and then goes to pretty boy and goes, yo, man, I got her for you. Here you go. Like, she never fucking does or says anything. Then she gets accused of infidelity, and pretty boy is like, I wish you were dead. It's a whole thing. There's
and then the dad says, I wish you were dead too.
Yeah, there's a friar in it. The friar tells her, we're going to fake your own death again, because Shakespeare always has friars fake their own, fake women's own deaths.
And then Claudio feels bad, and then he's like, oh no. And then Hero's like, I was alive the whole time, and you were a bitch to me.
But she barely even says that. She's just like, I'm still here. That wasn't
very
very
he's like,
nice.
I love you and I want to marry you.
And then she marries
says,
him.
Fucking nothing for the rest of the play.
Yeah, but it's weird. Anyway, we also love Shakespeare very, very much.
Yeah, we do.
We will also interrogate the shit out of decisions that are made in his plays, because that's what you do with things you love.
Yes, it's fun to go like, well, because here's the thing. If I had been reading The Wheel of Time in the 90s, I would be like, oh, here's a writer who, and before anyone Kool-Aid Man's into the Discord, I know women were doing a lot of stuff, but for a straight white man from the South, he had his finger on the pulse of like women being people.
Yeah.
Good for him. Not every as low a bar as that sounds, it was a decently high bar in the 90s for straight white men from the South. So he sailed over that, obviously. And if I were reading it then, I'd be like, fuck yeah, women are people. Good job, Rob. Now I'm like, if I were reading that and this were coming out now, I'd be like, this guy is way behind the pulse of society. Like, I don't need to like watch him learn. Do you know what I mean?
What's with all the spanking?
And that's why I say I think the series would have been very different. A lot of that stuff would have been very different if you were writing the series now. I say that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually do think a lot of the time that the series on Amazon that's coming out, you know, so the updates that they are making to some of the ways that things work, I think are reflective of the time we're living in.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, I actually think because Robert Jordan seemed like a guy who was trying to do it right?
I would agree with that.
I think he seemed like a genuinely good person, and who like was thoughtful and had their finger on the pulse of society. I feel like he would have also made those updates.
Many of them, yeah.
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 A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the book?
No. Yes, of course.
Chapter 3.
Aviendha!
The Ways of Honor.
Okay, I've got my
Allie,
notes.
do you have some notes for us?
Nah.
No note. Yes notes. Notes.
No.
Yesents.
Hold
Yests. Yeasts.
What are you doing?
Riffing?
I didn't pull them up because of who I am as a person.
Then I need to... That's why I'm
All right.
riffing.
I said Aviendha!
Yes.
We haven't had an Aviendha POV.
We don't get many Aviendha
in
POVs.
so long.
No, we haven't had a lot of them.
Here's the update I would want Robert Jordan to make if he were writing the series
More
today.
Aviendha
More
POVs.
Aviendha POVs.
I wonder how many there are.
Aviendha. I feel like one of the reasons why she's so beloved, she and Brigitte, is because we get in their heads so little.
Oh, I think that not getting in a character's head can be an excellent way.
And Rourke.
I think that can be an excellent way to really, really fall. I mean,
we don't really get in Land's head either.
No.
He's the like mainest character we never get in his head. What like in terms of the group.
We also almost never get in Warren's head.
That's freaking crazy.
I think,
except she got a whole book. Oh, and so did he. He had POVs. In
yeah, but outside of the prequel, we get almost no POVs from Warren or Lan.
I would, Robert, respectfully, if you were writing today, I would be like,
But I think that's part of what makes them so cool and mysterious. I mean, I have talked about Malazan so fucking much on this podcast to the extent that people are very tired of me doing that. But one of the things that Steven Erikson deliberately did in Malazan was whenever he had like a powerful protagonistic, like move the needle type character, he would actively avoid writing points of view perspectives for that character, specifically because it kept them more badass, more mysterious, and cooler. Like, I talk a lot about the guy who has a sword that is also a wagon. There's like no POVs of his. Not that he does exactly POVs, but it's,
Yeah, but like I think you're right. It's kind of like in horror movies where the more you see of the monster, the less cool the monster is, right?
So here's
because our imagination is so much better.
There are 22 chapters with Aviendha's point of view. I'm looking on Encyclopedia Watt, which is
You can read that?
Yeah. I have perfect vision.
I must be having a flare-up. That's what happens during my flare-ups is I stop being able to see.
There's 22 Aviendha chapters.
One of the things.
This is the fourth one.
I cannot read that.
That says Lord of Chaos, chapter 19. That says Crown of Swords, chapter 13. That says Path of Daggers, chapter 1. And this one says Gathering Storm, chapter 3. So I guess,
see.
Expectation spoilers, you get a shitload more Aviendha POV from this point forward compared to everything else you've had from Aviendha's POV. But I don't really consider that a spoiler. Let's look at Moiraine. This is fun. While you're doing notes. Sorry, you can continue doing notes.
Okay. Wait, I missed everything you said because I was so busy thinking about whether or not I was having a flare-up.
Oh, there have been, prior to this point, 3 Aviendha POVs.
Uh-huh.
This is the fourth.
The fourth.
And I guess slight expectations, spoilers. There are a total of 22 in the series. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So we don't even we're like not even halfway.
We're about 20%.
And there's like so much, I'm so pleased.
There's a lot more Aviendha perspective after this point.
I'm so pleased.
Let me look up
with
Moiraine.
this information.
Moiraine, close your eyes just in case I click something.
I can't read anyway.
View. Outside of New Spring, we have had, don't look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Moiraine points of view.
How many do we get?
I'm not going to answer that
Why not?
because, it's spoilery.
Oh, you mean they don't rescue her? Oh,
Maybe
please.
they don't. Maybe we never hear from her
Please.
again. Maybe
Please.
Robert left no notes about it.
Please.
And Brandon was like, I don't really give a shit about Moiraine. I'm going to focus on Cadsuane instead.
He would be- well-
I love Cadsuane. She is my real
I do
mom.
love Cadsuane.
I also love Cadsuane.
No, I've heard you say that he said that Cadsuane was the hardest for him
Brandon
to
Sanderson famously and explicitly said he does not like Cadsuane.
We have beef now.
I understand.
He and I have beef, like legitimate beef over that.
I believe
I
his
love
exact
Cadsuane
wording was, "You're
so
not
much.
my real mom, Cadsuane. Moiraine is my real mom."
Okay, I need them to all stop saying Moiraine is a mom. Because, well, you know what? Here's the thing. During the Grinwald Cup, every fucking year, people are like, I can't think Moiraine is hot. She's like mom. And I'm like, hot moms exist.
That's true.
Just because a woman has like a maternal instinct does not make her not hot. That is my opinion. I guess
true.
if you feel like she is your mom.
That'll cut that right out. Yeah.
But then I'm like, you're 45. She's not your mom. You are of an age. Are they? Isn't she 50?
Moiraine?
Yeah.
She's like 43. She's older in the show.
43-year-old women are hot.
Yeah, in the show, I think she's like 90.
My hot take about society is I think women just get hotter as they get older.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever seen like a really powerful
You've
65-year-old?
actually said this exact thing on the podcast before.
Have I?
Yeah.
I guess that's my hot take.
Yeah.
I'm like, because the confidence, the competence, the like, just the experience. I mean, just
Speaking of women,
yeah.
Aviendha, point of view chapter. Do
Yeah.
you have any more
I still
notes?
have no. Okay. Well, I'm just saying. It's an Allie POV episode.
That's what I'm here for.
It's a lot of elevator music. She didn't trust change. Mood.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am an Aviendha rising. I do feel that way. Aviendha Brigitte, some kind of combo rising.
Sure.
She didn't trust change. Mood. Oh wait, I already said that.
You did. That's okay though.
Rourke and Amis couple goals.
They are.
They are so supportive. They are so in each other's corner. They're perfect.
Yes.
They're perfect. Perfect. No notes. Okay, but silks and baths aren't soft. Okay, because she's like, if I went soft, I'd like silks and baths, though I do kind of like those. I was like, okay, that's not soft. They're awesome.
Yes.
Like, we can like nice things and still be tough, I think. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, well, the Aiel aren't going to agree with you.
Yeah, I contain multitudes. I'm going camping.
Yeah. The Aiel aren't going to agree with you that those things aren't soft.
Well-
The Aiel are going to be like, if you don't sleep on a bed of rocky nails, nail-like rocks, you're a little weenie.
Then I'm a little
Junior.
weenie. I like nice things. You know what? And they like nice things. They love books. The peddlers bring them all kinds of nice shit. They take the fifth or whatever.
They don't take, that's when they conquer something.
Yeah, but then they take a bunch of nice shit with
They
them.
do. They take like rugs and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You weenie? You want rugs in your house?
Don't they have no chairs? Isn't that a whole thing about the Waste is no chairs?
Yeah, my back could not. It could never. That is
Also-
not accessible.
Reminds me of Shogun.
My back could never.
Mm-hmm.
I think about this a lot. I'm like, I think about it a lot. I'm like, what do the folks with bad backs do?
Suffer.
I suppose. Though during we had the pleasure of being able to participate in a Chinese wedding ceremony with like I forget
We
what
did.
it's called,
Tea
but it's
ceremony.
like the tea ceremony with the relatives.
Yeah,
And eventually they did bring a chair for the older folks.
they did.
Yeah. We had to
We were right the other side of the cutoff.
yeah.
Anybody who was of the same, I believe it was, we were
the
all
same
the same
generation.
generation, so we didn't
So we didn't get a chair.
sit,
and
which
then
is
the
completely
older
fair.
folks got a chair.
Yeah.
So
But it was funny because we were
I don't know if
some
that's
of-
like a traditional thing or an
some of the
adaptation.
oldest people who were the same generation, so it was like 3 people after us, they brought out a chair.
And I was like, I kind of feel it some kind of
And
way
we-
if I
we-
was the person that got a chair, and then they explained it to me.
Yeah, it was because we like chuckled. We were like, oh, that's funny. And you know, it's
Because I was like, how do they decide who gets a
it's
chair?
a serious ceremony. So people came over and they're like, no, let me explain. I was like, no, I'm not trying.
Yeah,
to
we were not
this.
being disrespectful. We were
No,
just like,
I just thought it was
would
funny.
you feel some kind of way if you were the first person? They were like, you need a chair.
Do you have any more notes?
I do. Well, no, they were super sweet about it and explained it to us.
It was great. It was a beautiful wedding.
I don't. It was super. Yeah, no, they were super sweet. We were just like speculating, and they were like, "Let me explain."
We're
And I was
gonna
like, I hope you would.
get this chapter underway, but first we're gonna take a quick break for some ads, and I'm gonna let the dog in the studio. I hit the wrong button. Welcome back, Allie. We're gonna get it kicked off. Get her moving. Get it rolling. Get it started with chapter 3, the ways of honor.
Ooh.
Thoughts on this chap?
I'm curious what the wise ones are up to with
What do you
Aviendha.
think they're up to?
I don't know. Why
Is
are they
there-
being mean to her?
Slapping the metaphorical shit out of her.
Yeah, what'd she do? She
What
did
did she
exactly
do?
what they asked
What-
of her.
what
she
did
gave
she
up
do?
being a maiden of the spear.
Yes.
She's hooking up with Randall Thor. They're
At least
they're
the
all
ones.
but married. And they were like, "You're gonna get married?" And she's like, "Well, Min said I have children with Randall Thor. So what do you think?"
And
I
then
was
she
like,
was
"Well,
like,
you don't
she was
have
like,
to be married."
let me roll it back. I guess that doesn't guarantee anything, but that's what I have chosen to infer.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Fair.
I think that's probably happening.
Yeah.
And it'll be like quadruplets or whatever. Because Rand has super sperm. Or
The magic things with all the 9 million babies.
Everyone's having
stuff.
twins. It's just twins all the way down. Hey, this is Allie from the future. And if you want to avoid Hunger Games spoilers, because we didn't think about that until we started talking about it, skip ahead like 15 seconds or something.
Like
it'll be tagged.
45. Does that count as babies ever after?
I mean, if she gets knocked up at the end, yeah.
Aviendha.
That one doesn't bother me as much as it bothers others, unless the character has explicitly said that they don't want to be a parent.
Yeah.
Hunger Games being the only
Hunger
exception.
Games is the exception.
Because Katniss says that because she doesn't want to bring children into the world that they're in, and
then
the
they
fact that
change
she has
the world
children
they are in.
means that she
Oh,
feels safe enough to
spoilers.
have. Damn.
I guess.
Well, I'm sorry. We covered it on the podcast, so I assumed it was safe to discuss, but I guess not.
I'll just.
We'll put in a God thing at the beginning of that to be like, skip
Yeah.
ahead if you don't want spoilers. How about that? No, just put a thing in that's like, hey, this is Gus from the future. And here, I'll do it right now. Hey, this is Allie from the future. And if you want to avoid Hunger Games spoilers, because we didn't think about that until we started talking about it, skip ahead like 15 seconds or something.
Like
it'll be tagged.
45.
Also, we're like half an hour in, so we should probably start talking about the book.
They don't. All right. Aviendha crouched with her spear sisters and some True Blood scouts atop the low, grassy hill, looking down at the refugees. They were a sorry lot. These
True Blood?
Domani.
I said Elena and that other guy. Are they vampires?
I never watched that show.
I didn't either, but I know about the sound.
I don't-
Where he's like, "I'd do anything for Elena."
I'm on my
And
way
it's
to
like, I'm on
murder
my way to
Elena,
murder
that
Elena.
one.
That's from
Yeah.
True Blood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's what I know.
What network was that on?
CW.
C-
I think.
It was?
I think so.
No.
Seems like a CW thing.
No, I remember it was like this very high profile.
No, it was definitely high profile.
True.
CW has high profile shows.
I know it has high profile shows, but True Blood is an American fan. That's a picture of Tupac. Why am I on the Tupac page? I was reading about Tupac, and it pulled up
Oh, that's
True
because
Blood.
we were
but with
talking about
yeah, Tupac and Biggie.
rappers the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you do. We were having a whole conversation about the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
executive producers.
We were getting a
producer-
whole breakdown.
HBO.
Was it HBO?
HBO, yeah. True Blood, yeah, HBO, yeah.
I don't know why I said CW.
Look, again, I will reiterate and repeat what you said and echo and affirm. CW does not mean bad.
I feel like it would be really fun to binge True Blood.
I feel like there's this funny propensity for people to say, CW like it's bad. CW is
No.
not bad.
I love Gossip Girl.
CW is broadly mass and young person and often women appealing shows.
Wonder why people are so shitty about
and
it.
sometimes they're lower budget. Oh no. God forbid.
You know what's wild to me? The majority of moviegoers and theater goers and like consumers of art are women, but the majority of people who are making a living doing art are men.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's it's bullshit.
Jodi Picoult had a whole TikTok about it the other day, and it made me laugh because Jodi Picoult's TikTok presence is surprisingly delightful.
They were a sorry lot, these Domani wetlanders with dirtied faces that had not seen a sweat tent in months. Their emaciated children too hungry to cry. One sad mule pulled a single cart among the hundred struggling people. What they hadn't piled in the vehicle, they carried. There wasn't much of either. Perhaps there was a village in that direction.
Real quick, that was not shade at Jodi Picoult. I love Jodi Picoult.
Perhaps they were just fleeing the uncertainty of the coastal lands. The refugees hadn't seen Aviendha and her companions. She'd never understood how wetlanders could be so blind. Didn't they watch, noting any oddities on the horizon? Couldn't they see that traveling so near to a hilltop practically invited scouts to spy on them? How do you feel about this? Aviendha blames cities.
See,
She's like, fucking cities fucked everybody up.
Cities make you more tough?
Cities were stinking, festering places like sores that never healed. Some were better than others. Elaine did an admirable job with Camelin.
I feel like the Southern of Robert Jordan is coming out right
the
now.
best of them gathered too many people and taught them to grow comfortable staying in one place.
Okay, here's my thing.
This is just IO POV.
First of all, comfortable staying in one place. People in cities move more than anybody.
That's true.
People in small towns stay in small towns forever.
Well, it's funny because it's an Aiel thing, right? She's making an Aiel
I understand.
But they have holds.
I know. I literally thought that. I was like, don't you have cities? You actually have cities. Cold Rock's hold is a city.
It's a de facto city.
It's a city. What is it if not a city?
It's a hold.
It's a city.
It's a hold.
It's a city. Hold is just another word for city. It's a city. Aviendha, it's a city. It's just a city with another name.
A city by any other name would smell as stinky.
Cities are a little stinky. But that's just because there's a lot of people. The country is stinky too. The animals are stinky.
If those refugees had been accustomed to travel and had learned to use their own feet rather than relying on horses as wetlanders so often did, then it would not be so difficult for them to leave their towns.
I am not soft. I've been mugged. Like, relax.
Among the Aiel, the craftsmen were trained to defend themselves. The children could live off the land for days, and even blacksmiths. What is wrong with me? Even blacksmiths could travel great distances quickly. An entire
Everyone in a city knows how to defend themselves.
An entire sept could be on the move within an hour, carrying everything they needed on their backs.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Who is more able to move? Someone who lives in a postage stamp apartment in New York, right? Who has to, by extension, own like 2 things, or someone in the country who's just like collecting shit.
Wetlanders were strange, doubtless. Still, she felt pity for the refugees. The emotion surprised her.
This is not me, by the way, coming for people who live in the country. That sounds nice sometimes.
No, it's also
I'm
great.
just such a city girl, and I get so annoyed when people shit on cities.
Yes. We spend a not insignificant amount of time not in a city. It's nice out there.
Yeah, and I like to get away from the city sometimes, but like I personally, I'm such a city girl. I love the city. I love just having so much stuff close.
That is not being able to.
I love every restaurant I want.
DoorDash tacos at 1 a.m. is really great.
It. Like, I love it. I love all the art and the culture and the people and the vibrancy. I love like having everything I want within like a short distance. I love living in the city. I like visiting the country and I understand the appeal. I just disagree with Aviendha's take on cities.
Elaine Tricand had taught her that not all wetlanders were soft and weak. Just most of them. There was G in caring for those who could not care for themselves.
Wow.
Watching the refugees, Aviendha tried to see them as Elaine would.
Okay. Here's the thing. You are making assumptions based on a handful of refugees. Refugees are just your average citizen
Who's lost everything.
Who's lost everything and is trying to like grasp it. Like these are the most downtrodden people you could base your assumptions off of.
It's almost like tribalism and societally ingrained prejudices that are hard to overcome, needing to be overcome, is a central theme of the Wheel of Time.
And this is wild. She's going, I don't know why I feel sad seeing refugees. And I'm like, maybe because refugees, no matter where they come from, it's upsetting.
It's almost like this is something that Brambert is doing on purpose.
Okay, fine. I
Maybe.
know. I do know.
I don't know.
Then this is the shit that makes me like the books. I love the books. It's his commentary on stuff that's like, yeah, why wouldn't you feel if you can see like refugees who have lost everything, who are fleeing terror and not be moved by that and not feel something for those people. That's troubling. It's a very upsetting thing to see.
Yes.
Why would you not feel something, Aviendha?
Yes. Well,
because they are people who have lost everything.
Yeah. This is
no one chooses to be a refugee.
This
That's
is also
like when your life's going really poorly.
Notable growth, I feel like, from when was that? Lord of Chaos, where she saw Oliver and was like, I'm not sad. Who cares?
About an orphaned child? Everyone.
Remember that?
With a conscience?
It wasn't who cares. It was like, I'm not upset he's an orphan. He's a tree killer. But also, like, somebody should probably take care of him. Just not me.
Aviendha's doing that, the equivalent of that person who does ayahuasca for the first time. And it's like, oh, I realized that everyone is a person with, like, feelings.
It's a classic.
A classic. She's just coming to terms with that. She's experiencing ego death for the first time. We love that for her.
Once, Aviendha would have left these thoughts to a clan chiefs and roof mistresses, but she wasn't a maiden any longer, and she had accepted that. She now lived under a different roof. She was ashamed that she had resisted the change for so long, but that left her with a problem. What honor was there for her now? No longer a maiden, not quite a wise one. Her entire identity had been...
Not yet, I'm not a maiden, not yet a wise one.
Her entire identity had been wrapped up in those spears, herself forged into their steel as surely as the carbon that strengthened them. She'd grown from childhood certain that she would be Fardarais Mai. Okay. This is all important stuff. I'm just da-da-daing it because I'm not going to read all of the words.
They know.
She would find honor in her new life. She would learn Elaine's ways and how to think like a chief. Somehow.
I love Aviendha.
Me too.
I love Aviendha. I love that she's also deconstructing. Look at her, deconstruction queen.
Rourke.
We love that for her.
Rourke. We haven't seen Rourke in a minute.
I know. Again, Robert, notes. Where's my Rourke? Where's my land? Where's my Aviendha?
Watch the refugees alert. The dead walk, the Tardad clan chief said, and men fall at random to sight blinders evil, their blood corrupted like the water of a bad well. Those might be poor folk fleeing the ravages of war, or they might be something else. We keep our distance.
Here's why Rourke and I wouldn't work out. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Okay.
Because I'm like, Rourke would be a perfect husband, except for the fact that he'd be that guy who wants to go to the gym at 5 a.m.
But he wouldn't make you come with him.
I think he would want you to come, though. I think you'd feel like you had to go with him. I feel like there'd be like a little bit of like, I'm going to the gym. I think he'd get ready for the gym really loudly.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think it would. I think we wouldn't work out because because then we'd have completely different sleep schedules. I'm such a night owl.
So Aviendha thinks about Rand. How does she feel about Rand?
I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out who in these books would be my perfect husband.
Who is the Gale of these books to make a Baldur's Gate reference?
And it's always like a guy who reads.
Well, apparently...
Well, it's either a woman... Well, okay, so it's Moiraine, actually.
Well, you've lately been developing a bit of a crush
on... My book wife is Moiraine.
You've been developing a bit of a crush on one Galadriel Damodred.
I could fix him. I actually do think I could. I could fix that guy. I could fix him. I feel
like
him.
It depends whether or not he fixes the White Cloak.
Aegeonin also is up there because I just love women who can deconstruct from a toxic environment.
You just like people who are capable of changing their opinion.
Yes. Yeah. It's so hot.
It is really hot.
but only if it's for the good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not, I don't want to do like the crunchy mom to alt-right pipeline.
Right.
But like, but there's like capable of when someone goes, here's a rational thought. They're like, that is a rational thought. It totally undermines everything that I know to be true. However, I can't look away now from the fact that I'm wrong.
Let me interrogate my beliefs.
Instead of just dismiss this because it's easy, I do the hard thing and do the work to reevaluate my life based on this new moral that I learned.
So she thinks about Rand.
It's hot. It's the hottest thing you could do.
She thinks about how she and Elaine should both marry him as sisters and all that. Sisters, Allie. Sisters.
No!
Sisters is another name for roommates.
And they were
roommates.
Shout out to Lori Hernandez and her commentary for the Olympics gymnastics.
Didn't she make that? So
first of all, she's the cutest bug I've ever seen.
If you're not familiar, and they were roommates is a vine, and it is often used to suggest that
they're
people
lesbians.
Yes,
or gay.
the two people you were discussing
mostly lesbians, I feel.
Lesbians, yes.
I think it's mostly, I mean, just because I feel like the roommate thing is so lesbian. But
you know what? Speaking of
historical lesbian.
You know what's a secretly gay as fuck book?
What?
The Haunting of Hill House.
I did know that.
It is like secret gay.
I did know that.
It is very secret gay. Like one of the whole thing with the house was, I've read this 3 months ago, so I'm going to be vague, but it was like owned by this woman, and then her like good friend moved in with her, and they lived together for many years as good friends. And then like she died and she willed the house to her good friend, but her family didn't want the good friend to have the house.
Yay.
And there's also like one of the women who goes to the house has recently had a falling out with her good friend with whom she lives and spends all. I'm like, this book is full of lesbians.
It's lesbians all the way down.
That might be the episode title.
Lesbians all the way down.
Lesbians all the way down.
Yeah. Well, so I already know who my book wife is, but I'm like, who would be my book husband? I think Davin Bashir. Because I definitely don't think he'd make me go to the gym with him.
Okay, but
I think he's more of a night owl.
Saldean marriage and relationship
I
dynamics.
could fix him. I could fix him.
The counterpoint we didn't ask for,
He's
remember?
Well, I think Fail, this is my belief, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. Fail fundamentally misunderstands what works about her parents.
Remember the whole fucking thing?
I also feel like he'd be very generous, if you know what I mean.
You remember the whole fucking thing where he's talking to Perrin, and they're like, sometimes you got to tell your wife what to fucking do, and she's going to shut up and take it. And Dira's like, yeah, sometimes I just got to shut up. You remember that whole thing?
I choose to ignore that
that's
conversation
fine.
happened.
We can just ignore it. I'm paraphrasing.
I don't agree that is a thing. I don't agree that is a thing.
That's the memory hole we give those two?
I will throw that in the garbage.
Every character gets one memory hole.
That is thrown in the garbage.
It is a Gale-sized memory hole.
Thrown in the garbage. Garbage.
We're all over the place today.
I cannot hold a single thought lately.
I'm having a good fucking time.
I don't know if it's the excess sunshine or what.
There's a lot of that.
I'm so happy lately. The world looks so optimistic.
So she thinks about Rand and his butt and marrying Rand and how fun that would be. And Giotto, and she thinks about being a maiden and how it'll be different when she's a wise one and how she's not really sure what her life is going to be like. How do you feel about this? That was a very Dennis Reynolds on
about
the radio
what her life
sound
is
I just
gonna
made.
Be like?
Yeah.
After she becomes a wise one? Wait, when?
After she's on the precipice
of becoming a wise one.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she's like, everything is going to change and I'm not really sure what it's going to be like, what is going to be honorable, how I'm going to measure my honor.
Honey, everything is going to change all the time.
That's true.
That's just the inevitable part of life. Everything changes every day. So you gotta just embrace that the only thing that you can control is your attitude. And sometimes not even that. The only thing you can really control is how you respond. But the thing is also, as Mr. Rogers said, you're valuable just by being you.
The wise ones are treating her with less respect than they did before. And she's
See,
very
I don't
confused.
understand that.
She's
What
very
is going
confused.
on? She is doing everything they asked her to do.
Because it seems as though she
this
has
would hurt my feelings.
progressed significantly in her training.
Yeah, this would hurt my feelings a lot.
Went and was, in consultation in a cunnilingus way with the Queen of Andor.
I want to see one group.
You
in these
didn't
books.
even hear that, did you?
Oh, what?
Nope, you don't get
What?
it. You
No,
don't. You
come
gotta
back.
listen back.
Come back.
Nope.
Okay, wait.
Nope.
Here's the thing. I want one group in these books that does like words of affirmation, gold stars. Like nobody's doing like positive reinforcement. It's always like, now we're going to beat the shit out of you. Or now we're not going to talk to you. And if you do achieve something, we'll just go like, that was good. Or that was adequate. We'll all be stoic about it. Fuck being stoic.
Which
Be
group?
super happy for each other when you accomplish something.
That's true. Which group has the most toxic form of...
Aiel. Well, no, Shan-Chan.
I think it's the Black Tower.
Oh, well, yeah. They're the worst. They're all pretty bad, though.
They're all
I
pretty
can't
bad.
think of like a place where I go, yeah, that's where I want to hang out. The Two Rivers.
Two Rivers is pretty
like
chill.
the only place. And even still, you can't fuck anybody you want.
No.
Because they'll beat the shit out of you for that.
No.
Yeah, I
No
think
sex
so
before
far
marriage,
the only place I'd want to hang,
according to
and
the farm boys.
Even then, it'd only be like post-married alley.
Do you remember when we were... Sorry, go ahead. You weren't done. I thought you were done.
Is the Two Rivers.
Do you remember when we were talking to your stepmother about the books? And we were talking
Yes.
about the relationship dynamics and the
we've
prudishness.
talked about
we
this.
have, but I think it's funny and bears repeating. The prudishness of the farm boys and farm girls in the Two Rivers. And she said, this book has men doing magic and flying monsters and all this other stuff. But what you just told me is the most unbelievable part of the entire thing. You're telling me that a bunch of farm
bored
boys
teenagers in the middle
are
of the
prudes?
country.
Absolutely not.
A bunch of bored teenagers in the middle of the country are not shucking and fucking. That is incorrect.
So anyway, back to the wise ones.
Back to the wise ones. Why are they being so mean to her?
Why do you think?
I don't know. I'm like genuinely baffled. Genuinely baffled. Do they think she's just getting too big for her britches or has like forgotten her culture or something?
The wise ones had allowed Aviendha some honor by letting her serve punishments, but she didn't know how she'd shamed herself in the first place.
I don't
Asking
either.
would, of course, only bring more shame. Until she unwove the problem, she could not meet her toe.
It's not the premarital sex. They don't have an issue with that.
They were very excited about that.
Is it sharing a man with someone who's not a sister?
Until she sorted out this problem, she would remain an apprentice.
Does she need to become Min's sister also? Are we going to do this sucking titty thing again?
Well, maidens, I don't think there's much problem with just kind of fucking around in the Aiel
How many sisters can you have?
bunch.
You have a bunch of sisters? Like, is
think so.
there a cap?
I don't think so.
There's no cap.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Each of the wise ones, Amis, Bear, Melaine, and Nadire, gave her a glance. Bear, the only Aiel with the group who wasn't Tardad or Goshin, had arrived only recently, perhaps to coordinate with the others.
What if you're a dude? Okay. What if she's got like 14 sisters at that point? Like at a certain point, does somebody turn to you and go, that's just too many?
Well, I think the whole thing
I'm
with
not going to marry that many women.
with the first sister ceremony is you need to have like an exceptional connection with this person. So
What
I think
if you have an exceptional connection with 14 people?
I think that
Also,
I
the
think the
person
wise
that you
ones have to
bond
go with it, too.
super duper hard with when you're 20 might not be the person that you're bonded super duper hard with when you're 40.
that's true.
People change. Like, even though you're besties when you're 20,
Well, the Aiel seem to go hard on found family. Like, let's not forget, Aviendha has
found family does slap. It is
Aviendha-
one of the better tropes.
Aviendha has a biological sister.
Yeah, but it would be weird if you were
No, I'm not talking about that.
like, sharing a dude with your actual sister.
That's not what I'm
That'd be
talking.
fucking
I'm not suggesting the romantic side of it. I'm saying Aviendha has an actual sister. We have heard about her once, ever.
weird. It is weird.
So clearly, like in the context of the person you're close to when you're 20 may not be. I think the thing about the Aiel is they go hard into found family, and it's like we're bonding now, and I'm going to treat you as though you are in fact blood. And, we're going to work
That's a
it
real
out.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like, and you can absolutely be closer with someone you meet later in your life than you are with a sibling.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not knocking that.
No, of
like,
course.
you can meet someone in your life that becomes like a sibling to you for sure. I have a friend that is that to me. But yeah, I just also think the idea of like, I just don't know if you should make any life permanent decisions when you're 20.
I mean, yeah, I buy that.
But me when I was 20.
The maidens in particular also tend to lean hard into...
I guess you always are making life permanent decisions
you are,
no matter what.
Yeah.
So you know what? Fuck it.
The maidens
Do what you
also
want.
seem to lean hard into live fast, die young.
It's true. It's true. I have nothing quippy to say about that.
So, they're chatting, they're catching up. Where are the Aiel headed, by the way? What are they doing? What is their goal? What is their objective?
That's a really good question. I don't think I know that.
Go make peace in Bandar Eban and Era Daman.
Oh, well, that's why I deleted that from my brain.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, nope, I just don't agree with this.
Talking about Rand and where it goes, his intentions are not clear. He asked for us to restore order. Are we then to be like Wetlander city guardsmen? That is no place for the Aiel. We are not to conquer, so that we do not get the fifth. And yet it feels very much like conquest, what we do. The Karakarn's orders can be clear yet confusing at the same time. He's a gift in that area, I think.
Roast him.
And they're like...
Roast him.
Amis says... Bear is like, well, should we do something about the refugees? And Amis says, what should we do? Are we shy, though? Expected to make guy shine from Wetlanders? And Aviendha goes...
Nope. Family view.
Oh, she doesn't say anything. She nods. They're there to restore order, by the way.
Okay. Does it have something to do with Rand? I feel like I'm going to play 20 questions with him. Okay, does it have something to do with Rand?
Melaine says, perhaps he will
does it have
explain
something to do with Min?
more when we arrive at this manor house of his.
Does that have something
and
to do
if
with
he
Elaine?
does not, then surely it is better for us to be here in Erdoman and to spend yet more time lounging back in the land of the tree killers.
Is she just integrating into the other culture too much? Is it that she's not pregnant yet?
Well, let's keep reading. Let's read a little bit more. They're gonna keep moving, and
are they doing this until she gets married?
Amis pins Aviendha to the ground with her eyes and goes, Aviendha, how many wise ones went with Rourke to scout this refugee train? She goes, none but me. Oh, and are you a wise one now? No, I spoke poorly. Then you shall be punished.
Oh, so they think that she's like getting too big for her britches then.
Is that what's happening? Because she's been an apprentice for quite a while.
Yeah, why isn't she a wise one yet?
Why isn't she a wise one yet?
Is she not focusing on her training enough?
How do you become a wise one?
I don't know. How do you become? Is this like hazing? Are we hazing her? Is this like a ritual?
Well, if they're hazing her, then how does she get out of it?
I don't know. Very carefully.
If they just keep on punishing her.
Fight back? Punish them back. Spank their asses. What?
Say, fuck you, I'm not doing it anymore?
Maybe.
Would that work? Or would they just punish her harder?
I don't know. Has anyone tried it?
I don't know.
Have we tried it yet? Let me look. And because maybe it's this thing of because she's now accepting these responsibilities without even being asked. And they're like, oh, maybe you're a wise one when you declare yourself a wise one. Is that a thing? Is it like the confidence where you're like, no, I'm not going to be punished for that because that was my fucking job because I'm a wise one.
Did they say anything about that? Is it one
of those
here?
things like, do you manifest your own wise one-iness?
Well, I don't know. Do they talk about that? What do they say?
She said, okay, well, let's read through this. Hold on. She says, Aviendha, how many wise ones? Aviendha, I'm not going to do the voice. How many wise ones went with Rourke to scout this refugee train? None but me. Oh, and are you a wise one now? And then she says, no, very quickly. I spoke poorly. Then you shall be punished. If she had said yes, maybe that's the test. It's like, you have to say, I'm a wise one.
That could make sense, but I feel like that's kind of a big risk.
Yeah. So you have to mean it.
The syntax, I agree with you that the syntax implies this. Because she says, are you a wise one? No. Then you shall be punished.
Then you shall be punished.
That is, the syntax does suggest that, but I do feel like that's kind of a big risk for her to take.
Yeah, that's why you have to be really confident that you are a wise one. It's when you are you're like, it's like with Egwene. It's like with Egwene. You speak it and then you are. If you act like you are one thing, then you are.
Oh, with the Shemiran and accepting the thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like if you accept that, then you aren't. If you accept the treatment that you're getting, then that's the treatment you deserve.
So it's like the last step is to say, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am.
Could be. Or maybe she's going to try that and get her ass beat.
Yeah, but it seems like she's getting her ass beat
She
either
is
way.
getting her ass proverbially beat.
So it doesn't seem like it's that much of a risk.
Not much to lose in this situation.
She gets her ass beat for sneezing on the wrong day.
Yeah.
You know?
And the punishments are getting more humiliating.
Yeah, because they're trying to push her to the point where she goes, I am a wise one, actually.
It could be that, or maybe it is that something to do with Rand.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking it's this. I think our girl's leveling up. They're trying to get her to a level up.
Could be.
It's like, are you somebody who...
Are you gonna take this from us?
Well, and I feel
or
like...
are you our equal?
I wonder if, like, people typically... This would be funny. Okay, this would be funny. Because Aviendha is so resistant to the whole wise one thing, right? Like, she doesn't feel like she's one. She's let go of the whole maiden thing. She, like, doesn't really feel like she fits the wise one mold yet. La-da-da. Maybe it usually doesn't take this much before someone goes, yeah, you know what, I am.
That would be funny.
If this is like, because she said it's like basically they're at a point where they're like treating her basically like she's that song.
Yeah.
So if they're just sitting there like,
oh my
Jesus
God,
fucking
oh
Christ.
my God, girl, holy shit,
you're literally dating the Dragon Reborn. You are a wise one.
That would be pretty funny.
Like, the Dragon Reborn's girlfriend is not an apprentice. You can make fireballs with your mind. Like, hello.
You're close friends with the queen of the largest land nation this side of the
we
spine.
need you, girl. Step up into your leadership position, which is why the punishments are getting even meaner and meaner and meaner, because it's like, we need you to own your shit.
Could be.
We need you to know you're a wise one before, like even if everybody else doesn't acknowledge it, you need to
acknowledge it.
It's kind of like what it takes to be an artist. You have to be a little
believe
bit
it of yourself. Yeah.
You have, like, no one's going to believe in it for you.
No.
You have to believe in it.
That's true.
Like, even if someone else believes in you, you have to believe in you. You have to be a little bit deluded.
Yeah, because, you know,
in some ways.
I feel like she already did the magic ceremony thing, right? She went to Roydian already.
Yeah.
So she already did the
big ceremony, like the big thing that proved that she's worthy.
Because clan chiefs only have to do the one thing. They just have to go to Roydian.
Yeah. She proved she's worthy.
Yeah.
So now they just need her to...
She needs to believe it about herself.
She needs to believe it. Yeah.
Okay. I could see it.
This is actually kind of beautiful if you think about it. Like, you need to believe, even if no one else does, that this is you. And that's what Egwene is exemplifying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's a whole statement about women believing in themselves.
It would be a very good sort of parallel
to what's going on with both Elaine and Egwene right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because Elaine has also walked into the room, planted her flag, and gone, fuck you. This is mine.
What I am. But Aviendha, this is so counter everything she ever envisioned for her life, right?
Yeah.
So she's struggling with it. Whereas most people, like, if this is something that they wanted, right? Eventually they'd be like, well, I do all the stuff. So yeah, stop beating the shit out of me like I'm some nothing.
Well, and even in this context, how many wise ones were there? Just me. Oh, so they didn't actually send any wise ones except for Aviendha. Therefore, she is one.
Yeah.
They trusted her to do this.
Yeah, she's doing the task.
I see it. That could work.
It's like, hello, silly beans. Like, you just said your initial gut instinct was to say you went.
Yeah.
As a wise one.
Yeah.
Representative.
But then she backed out of it.
And then they're like, oh.
Oh, are you a wise one?
Are you a wise
one? Okay.
No. Okay. Guess you're not.
Then we won't treat you like one.
Guess then you're going to be an apprentice. We'll just super apprentice you.
I could see it.
I like that. I like that if that's where they're going.
Well, I hope you're right.
I like that. I like that a lot. For a while, I was really baffled by this whole thing. I was like, why are you being mean to her? Why are you being mean to her for doing all the work? But now I'm like, and it would be so funny if it came out and they were like, you were the longest, it took you the longest of any, but we've been testing you for 6 months.
Shit. Yeah.
Trying to get you to say that you're a wise one.
Yeah.
It'd be fun if you looked back and you kind of could see that they were starting to do that.
That would be, well, this is the first time we've seen her since she left Elaine.
Yeah.
But even now she's like, they have been making me do stupid bullshit. I have no idea what I did wrong.
No, but it'd be fun if for this book, for a while, they just keep asking her if she's a wise one.
That would be pretty funny.
In different ways. And she's just like, no. And they're like, I guess we're beating the shit out of her again.
And you're not.
Until there's got to be some big thing where she's just like, all right, fuck y'all. I'm a wise one.
And they just go,
And
oh, good.
Like, finally, Jesus Christ. We were having to get really creative here.
That's pretty funny.
I think that's where they're going.
We'll see.
I think it'd be really fun. Because, that's her whole thing is she, lacks the confidence.
Yeah, I can see it. We're gonna
get it.
One more really quick ad break, and then we're going to finish off this chat. Welcome back.
What do you think about my theory?
I like your theory. I think it's very strong.
Too. I think it'd be really it. That would feel like a very updated and modern thing to put in fantasy. That confidence thing, because I feel like a lot of the time it's all right, you do these things, and then there's got to be some big ceremony. But this would be you seizing what you are. Because one of the most embarrassing things in the world when you're a writer is to tell people that's what you do.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of the most
too.
Embarrassing things in the world to do, even when you've seen success, because you never, ever feel worthy of the title.
That's true.
I never feel. I've written for Nickelodeon. I am still embarrassed to tell people that I'm a writer.
Yeah, I
still get so embarrassed.
I get that.
To tell people. And it's I've got some legitimate credits now. Some really good ones. I had credits before, but I've got some pretty great credits at a studio that I've always wanted to work with, and I still struggle to tell people that that's what I do.
You are no longer a maiden, Aviendha. It is not your place to scout. That is a task for others. She's why
but
is
you
one
let me
scout?
go.
Oh, okay. Did they think she had grown soft by spending time with Elaine?
Nope.
Aviendha herself worried that was true. The others just stood there looking at her expectantly.
Aviendha doubts herself so much. In her head, she's always doubting herself. All right, what? Yeah, you just
nothing.
Okay, well, I did say I was an Aviendha writer. I did say that. I'm a Gwaine tryhard. I'm Matt goofball, and I'm Aviendha's doubts herself, kind of edgy sometimes. And never wants to look soft. I do never want to look soft.
They talk about Rand and what's going on with Rand, and they keep on picking Aviendha's brain. She's like, why are they asking my opinion on things? What,
because you're a wise one.
That's weird. Why do they want to know what I think? Why aren't they punishing me?
I want to know when they decide to start asking the question. Maybe, have they been asking it since the beginning? Because I feel like they say that a lot. Oh, are you a wise one? I feel like they say that in a way that sounds like they're being mean.
They ask her about Rand. Althor himself, what do you think of him? I love him, Aviendha said. I did not ask Aviendha the silly girl, Amis said. I asked Aviendha the wise one.
That's so what's happening. Oh my God. That's so what's happening. I am right again, Luce Theron.
He is a man of many burdens, Aviendha said more carefully. I fear that he makes many of those burdens heavier than they need be. I once thought that there was only one way to be strong, but I have learned from my first sister that I was wrong. Rand al'Thor, I do not think he has learned this yet. I worry that he mistakes hardness for strength. I'm rolling my R's too much.
So what? It sounds nice.
You would marry him? Amis said. She's like, oh, God, yeah.
That's such a relative, that's such an older relative thing to do. I mean, God, we were together 8 years before we got married?
Yeah.
How many times did people ask us when we were getting married?
Most days.
Oh, my God. Every family function, every minute of every family function, it was when are you getting married? I had somebody say to me, they were like, well, I knew someone who was with her boyfriend for a decade, and then he never popped the question, and it was all just a massive waste of time. Sometimes it's they don't propose for a reason because you're not the right one. And I was like, the fuck is that to say, kind of thing to say?
Yeah, man, because relationships only matter if they end with a marriage.
That's when you hit them with, that was so rude. You must be so embarrassed. And now it's when you're going to have a baby. Oh, my God. When you see one, that's when we will have one.
So they talk about Rand and whether or not she's going to marry Rand.
I'd be a teen mom.
You're over 30.
I'm in my 30s, yeah. I still feel like I'm not equipped to raise a baby. That's forever.
So they keep asking her about Rand. They're like, "You gonna marry him?" She's like, "Yeah." And then like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "Men." And then she's like, "Well, I guess technically I'm not. I'm gonna have his babies. I don't know if I'm gonna marry him."
Oh, that'd be so embarrassing.
But I guess we'll figure it out.
To adults.
And Amis goes, "Very well then. Let us discuss today's punishment." And Aviendha goes, "Yes, I should be punished. My time in Camelin threatened to make me weak." And Amis goes, "You're no more weak than you were when you carried the spears, girl. A fair bit stronger, I should think. Your time with your first sister was important for you." She's like, "Fuck, God, shit, fuck. Ah, damn it.
What?
Fuck, I thought that was it. I really thought that was it."
Oh, yeah, that's what she thought. It's not that. It's the fact that you don't have confidence. So they're going to beat the shit out of you for not having confidence. That'll help.
It was almost as if the punishment was the thing the wise ones wanted her to learn, but that could not be. She was not some wetlander who needed to be taught the ways of honor. What good could constant, unexplained punishment do other than warn of some grave mistake she had made? She gives her a bag and goes, "We have decided that we have been too lax in our instruction. Time is precious, and we have no room left for delicacy." She's like, "Fuck me, that you're being
There's
nice."
Been delicacies on her.
Therefore,
yeah, see,
you will take this. Inside are seeds. Some are black, others are brown, others are white. This evening, before we sleep, you will separate the colors, then count how many there are of each one. If you are wrong,
I'm definitely right about this.
We will mix them together, and you will start again.
Brandon/Robert. Brandbert. I'm liking this. This plot line. I'm liking this plot line.
She goes, "By sight blinders eyes, what did I do?" And Amis just kind of looks at her and walks away. Amis moved off to run with the other wise ones. Aviendha shook off her stupor, her determination returning. Her mistake must have been more profound than she had thought. Amis's punishment was an indication of that.
It's that you don't know what you are. You're not embracing what you are. I love this. This is beautiful.
Whatever she'd done, it was offensive.
But I hate the books, though.
Whatever she'd done, it was offensive not just to the wise ones, but to all around her, even if they, like Aviendha herself, were ignorant of it. That only meant she had to be more determined. And that's the end of chapter 3.
I really like this. You know what? A lot of this, when I read it, flew over my head until I started thinking about it again.
This is the funny thing, too.
But it all struck me as super weird.
It is super weird.
Until you put the pieces together and you're like, oh, she has to declare herself. That's beautiful.
What I think is fun is...
I'll be so bummed if this is not where this is going.
It's almost like... I'm not saying you're right, but it's almost like spending something in the realm of an hour per chapter discussing and breaking down helps get at deeper meanings that may or may not be there.
Well, there's that. Definitely, yeah.
But I'm saying, whether you're right or not, I'm not saying you're right. But... I like that we are able to do this.
I'm right about this one.
Dig into the chapters.
I'm confident I'm right about this one. I'm confident I'm right about this one because the theme is so good. If I'm right about this one, the theme, I love theme. Here's the thing too. I think I do have an advantage. I have an advantage because one, I write, so I'm good at structure and being like, okay, this is important, this isn't. Two, I have ADHD pattern recognition.
Helps.
ADHD people are really good at pattern recognition.
I think your third benefit is after the Baalzaman thing, you decided to never be wrong again.
I became a monster, is what happened.
It really is a specific turning point, I feel like.
Yeah. And I've been wrong since then.
Oh, yeah.
I've been wrong since then.
Who's to say you're not wrong now?
A couple of them I think I shouldn't have been wrong. But
Van Dien?
Yes. I think I respectfully think I shouldn't have been wrong on that one. I stand by that theory. But otherwise, have I been wrong about anything else?
No comment, maybe.
I have no... Well, that I know of out loud.
Oh, I can't think right now.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
It's the sunshine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I saw who the next... Well, I guess we have to cut it here.
Yeah, we got to cut it here. But the next chapter is a Gawain chapter.
It is a Gawain chapter.
Yeah.
So I won't be reading. any further.
Thanks for
This was a
listening,
really good
everyone.
podcast, everyone. I really appreciate it. We will be ending it right here.
That's a joke. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And of course, you can always leave us a rating and or a review, which helps a lot.
I'm willing to have my mind changed about Gowan.
You had your mind changed about fucking Gallad.
I am thirsty. I am now Galad's #1 fan.
It's pretty good.
Listen. Short of Morghese killing Aviendha herself. That was the second best way that could have gone down.
Pretty satisfying.
And frankly, sometimes I'm like, it's helpful that it's nice that she didn't have to kill him because then she doesn't have that on her conscience.
Yeah. Anything else, Sally?
Sometimes I'm like, maybe that would have been nice for her though.
Anything else, Sally?
Galad. 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 Ah!
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Galad. Galad. Bye.